O'Reilly Raceway Park in Indianapolis for qualifying for the Camping World Truck Series. Welcome to qualifying for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on speed. It is a scorcher once again. A week ago in St. Louis, the temperatures were climbing up to 100 degrees. Here it's 93 degrees and feels like 102. We don't even know how hot the track has got, but it's going to be extremely warm today. The rest of the day on speed. Trackside coming up next, followed by Chris Devoda getting us ready for the AAA Insurance 200 presented on speed by the Expendables. Again, the big track about 7 miles to the east of us, and the big little show taking place right here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, Rick Allen with you once again. Now, this is one racetrack that we come to where qualifying is extremely important. More than any other track we go to, Phil.
Well, Michael and I will tell you when we go to Daytona, Talladega, qualifying means nothing. You could qualify last, start last, and be leading in 4 laps. But this place, I'm telling you, is extremely important. As a matter of fact, the average starting position of the winner here is better than 3. And I would not want to start outside the top 5 here because almost every year, as a matter of fact, every year except one, it's been won by somebody starting in the top 5 here at this racetrack.
We're talking 15 years, and the average start for the winner is under 3. That's right. Amazing. If I slip in this qualifying session, though, and I start 7th, 8th, 10th, I'm going to hang my hat on old Johnny Benson because back in 08, he started 8th, and he got the win. But, guys, this place is so tough to pass, and there's a lot of grooves, but completing a pass is so difficult. When they qualify, they're allowed to be right out next to the wall, or they can qualify low. But when you put those trucks out there and they start dicing it up, it gets tight off the corners. Phil and I have both won a pole here at ORP, but it wasn't in the modern era.
Well, it was nationwide. So, but we still give you guys credit for claiming poles at this racetrack. Let's go trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, whenever you start talking about poles, you've got to talk Mike Skinner. He's got more than any other driver in this series. And, Mike, the guys were just talking about how important it is to start up front at this racetrack, and you told me you have no chance at the pole. Is that really true?
I believe that's true, but, you know, our international trucks, Monaco RV's Tundra, has been really, really good today in race trim. We've tried to make a couple qualifying runs and just never really could get going. We're not much slower in race trim than the efforts that we made. So I look for good things by the end of the night. I don't know how we're going to start.
Have you sized up the competition today? Who are you going to have to beat tonight to get this 5 truck back in victory lane?
I'll tell you, the 13 and the 88 was both really, really good. You know, anytime you got Kyle Busch in the race, you know, he's going to be a threat to win. And, you know, we certainly hope we can get a Toyota up there in the victory lane tonight. That's our goal. Hopefully it's got a 5 on it.
Okay, good luck. Mike Skinner will be about 4th when we start qualifying. Adam?
Ray, it's been a busy day for Kyle Busch. It began here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, practicing in the Truck Series, then over with a Cup car at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So how was your time behind the wheel here earlier this morning?
It was good. You know, the guys did a good job unloading with a pretty decent truck. We worked on it a little bit, just trying to fine-tune it, trying to get a little bit of forward bite out of it, trying to get it to turn a little bit. So we'll see what we have for the rest of these guys, see what Eichler got worked on in the second practice there, and see how much they helped it. But, man, tires are a big deal here tonight. It seems like they fall off pretty hard, especially the way the track was real hot this afternoon. But just want to say thanks to Toyota of Warsaw, thanks to Flexco, and M&M's Toyota, all the guys that help us out here in this program. And wish we had somebody else on board this week, but we'll be looking forward to any phone calls.
Best of luck in the race and finding some sponsorship, all right?
You got it, thanks.
As he takes a drink of his NOS energy drink. Tonight, trackside coming up next. The Camping World Truck Series setup with Chris Devoda, presented by Polaris at 7:30, and then the green flag drops just after 8 o'clock for the AAA Insurance 200, presented on speed by the Expendables. The crowd starting to file in. That's just off of turn number 1 here at ORP. Stay with us. Qualifying's next on speed. Speed presentation of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying from O'Reilly Raceway Park is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all your truck, tire, and towing needs. And by Johnsonville. Sausage is all we do.
Next week, the Camping World Truck Series will lay down some new rubber as it makes its inaugural trip to the Poconos Raceway. The strangest track on the circuit, with 3 different turns, adds a new twist to the trucks. What role will the track play in the championship? Chris DeVoto hosts the setup starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.
Trucks take on the Tricky Triangle, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Saturday, July 31st. Pocono Mountains 125.
I tell you what's going to really be cool is a new qualifying format that NASCAR is going to bring to Pocono.
I like the way that's going to go down. We're going to put the fastest guys at the end.
Yeah.
We're going to spread these trucks out. Put more than one truck on the track at a time. That's going to be fun to see.
And here's what it's going to be. The qualifying order will be based on the final practice speeds. In other words, the slowest truck goes first all the way to the fastest truck going last. We absolutely will not know who will have this pole until the last truck runs. You can see they're going to release them about every 25 seconds or so. It's going to be a maximum of 2 laps. And the key is no drafting permitted, because that is huge at Pocono.
Yeah, and these guys in the truck series were having a lot of fun with this whole graphic of what the rules were until they read that no drafting permitted. Because they were thinking, we got to figure out a way to get a sniff of another truck to bust down these big, long straightaways. NASCAR said, you can't do that.
And that's 10 o'clock on Saturday, so you won't want to miss, again, the new procedures for the Camping World Truck Series qualifying just at Pocono. This is what they're trying out because of the new track that we're visiting and the opportunity that track lends itself to a different qualifying procedure.
Yeah, and so much more drama, though. You have to wait till the very last truck before we decide the pole sitter.
Take a look at our point standings. Through 11 races, Todd Bodine with a 101-point lead over Eric Almirola. How about our defending series champion back there in 6th?
It's 6th, but the key to that, Rick, is that 101-point lead that Todd has over 2nd, because you look all the way down in 8th place, and Matt Crafton is only 196 behind 2nd. So a slip by Todd Bodine, again, like we had at Iowa, could bring a lot of trucks into play for this championship run.
Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, let's hear from David Starr. How was your practice today here at ORP?
Well, it wasn't bad. We ended up 11th the first practice session. My PC Miler Toyota Tundra was pretty good the first practice session. And then we went over and talked to my teammate Mike Skinner, and they were doing something a little different. So we switched over to try it to see if it helped us, and it didn't help our truck. So we spent that second practice working on what Mike had. We couldn't get it work, so we went back. But we're having a hard problem getting off the corners here. We have no forward bite, meaning when we're gassing it up, getting off the corner, the back of the truck wants to spin out. So we've been fighting them issues pretty much the first practice and the second practice. And I don't know if it's temperature related, but we'll see how it goes. Tonight when we race, it's going to be a lot cooler. So hopefully the conditions will help our truck on forward bite. I'm hoping so.
How much do you have to build in for the weather? Because it was brutal hot this afternoon, and they're talking mid-70s tonight.
Well, I think you got to, that's why they pay these crew chiefs big bucks. I mean, you have to keep that in mind, but everything we tried to get our forward bite, we never could get it. So I'm hoping tonight when it cools off and the racetrack temperature cools down, we'll get that forward bite back, because we changed everything but the PC Miler Navigator paint job, and we never could find the forward bite. So I was a little concerned, but I think when the racetrack cools off tonight, it'll be a lot better for a lot of us.
Okay, David, one truck that had some good forward bite is on the track, guys. Those ThorSport trucks were awesome in practice.
Yeah, one of the quickest in practice earlier. He and his teammate Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, the first on the racetrack. Is this a disadvantage?
Well, I think anytime the racetrack sits a while, you would think that the oils and stuff in the asphalt will come up through, but I'm not sure here how much that matters, Michael. This is probably one of the few places that it doesn't. As a matter of fact, Matt Crafton just ran on his first lap faster than anybody had run this entire day.
And look at that truck, Phil. It's not skating sideways. He's down low on the racetrack. For ORP, you see it's basically in the middle, but a lot of the guys will be up higher than that in the turns. He's able to chop the corner off and give it a lot of gas, and it seems to be taking it.
It sounds like he may have spun the wheels just a little bit off the corner, slowed down about 1/10 of a second on lap number 2, but nonetheless a good first lap for Matt Crafton.
Well, and then you said he spun the tires a little bit off 4. He did, you're right, but man, the first lap looked perfectly smooth, and I don't think we'll see many trucks look that good. He looked like he was really hooked up.
Next out on the racetrack, a very good race truck. Let's find out how good the driver is behind the wheel. That is the number 2. The number 2 that Kevin Harvick had driven numerous times, 4 times already this year, and his worst finish was second.
Yeah,
so.
you know, Shelby Howard actually ran full-time in the Truck Series a couple years ago, and his best career finish came right here. He finished 5th a couple years ago. So Shelby Howard does know how to get around this racetrack, and he's got a little local knowledge as well.
And that's probably what led him to be in this truck tonight, is that great finish he had here a couple years ago.
Ray Dunlap.
Todd Bodine has been a busy guy today. A couple of practices here and then over to the big track. So which one was the best?
Well, unfortunately, the big track. That Toyota Camry was really pretty good. A little tight off, but I think we should be fine to, knock on wood, fine to make it in the race. And our Tundra, a little loose on exit. Couldn't get good forward bite. From what Junior's saying, a lot of guys were fighting that. So, but I mean, it was decent. We were like 6th in qualifying trim. He's got to get a good solid top 5 finish again.
Okay, Todd Bodine, 18 wins in this series. None of them have come on short tracks.
Todd Bodine trying to get that monkey off of his back. Finally get a short track win, potentially here at ORP. Shelby Howard second quick of the 2 that have been on the track. Stay with us, more qualifying here on Speed. Welcome back, AAA Insurance 200 qualifying here on Speed from O'Reilly Raceway Park here in Indianapolis. Now on the racetrack, Jason White in number 23.
Jason was 12th quickest overall in 2 practice sessions.
Ran a 23.12. Both the trucks that have gone so far have been down in the 22-second bracket, so Jason will need to pick it up a little bit.
Did you see how low he went there coming off turn number 4?
Didn't pay off for him. It looked like he lost a lot of momentum in the center of the turn by cutting it that low, and he ran a 23.246. That's slower than he practiced. The other 2 cats ran a little bit faster than they did practice earlier today.
And that's what's so difficult about this racetrack. And when he gets that truck turned right here, gets back to the throttle, it's so hard to get all the throttle down. He's way, way low now. If he's able to use all the throttle, then it should be a good lap. But I don't think he is able to use all that throttle, and he actually ran a little bit slower on lap number 2.
Different look for Jason this week. He usually has the orange and black of gunbroker.com on that truck, and this week he's sporting some new colors.
ASI Limited on the hood of that truck, and you guys have both won poles at this racetrack. Normally,
and not in the modern era.
Yeah, I apologize. Not in the modern era.
Let's just rejoice in that for a moment, can't we, Rick?
We will, but first let's go trackside to Ray.
Well, Eric Almirola has climbed into his truck, and you guys were slinging some springs at this thing today. You got it figured out?
I think so. It was really good today in practice. We made a lot of adjustments, just trying to keep up with the racetrack. It seemed like the racetrack had a lot of the Hoosier rubber from last night from the sprint cars, and we started laying our Goodyear rubber down today, and the track just kept changing and changing and changing. So we're just trying to keep up with the racetrack and try and be ready for tonight. This place changes a lot at nighttime, so just trying to stay ahead of the track, and hopefully we'll be all right tonight.
Okay, let's check in with Adam.
Who says going out first is a bad thing? Matt Crafton, the guinea pig, so to speak, and you were able to nail it. How'd you feel?
It actually felt pretty good. I mean, I was honestly very, very nervous going out first. I thought we were definitely a bad way. I mean, it picked up from what it did qualifying. Usually the track sits and gets hotter and slippery and goes away, but this Menards ideal or Chevy, I think we got a good piece tonight because we've always chased the racetrack during the heat of the day, and it was so hot today. We stayed free all day, and usually this place will tighten up, so hopefully we'll have something for tonight.
Another bad part of going out early, you got a long wait to see if that time will hold up.
Well, he dodged one bullet. Mike Skinner didn't get him. Mike Skinner was second quick in his qualifying effort, 22.698, so just a tick slower.
Will you believe that this is race number 12 here, and the best Mike Skinner has started this year was 4th? Can you believe that? This is a guy that has had 51 poles here in the Camping World Truck Series.
And that's when he said earlier, I don't have a shot at the pole. I thought, that's not true. Hey, you've won 50-some poles. You've got a shot every time you go to qualify.
And guys, I mentioned both of you have won a pole here. How do you get around this track fastest? I know that we don't see guys running right at the bottom of the racetrack here. You go up almost next to the wall.
I think you almost have to scare yourself a little bit here to get the lap that it takes to set on the pole. Crafton's truck, however, looks very smooth. It looked like a pretty calm lap. He was a little bit nervous, Phil, so he might have not driven that thing out over the edge. But in order to be able to be extremely fast here, you have to come off the turn, especially off turn 2, and almost hit that wall. We saw Skinner almost scrub the wall off turn 2. Timothy Peters to the top of the board.
Good lap for Timothy, 22.522. And I think it's a situation you have to drive the truck maybe a little farther in the corner that you did in practice, and then you get in the throttle, Michael, before you think it's going to stick. You said, if this thing sticks here, I know it's going to be good. It probably won't, but we're going to give it a try.
Now we're going to give it a try, and if it doesn't stick, that wall over there off turn 2 gets your attention in a hurry.
Timothy Peters is fastest of the 5 trucks that have been on the racetrack. 22.522 was his time. That's the mark that everyone will be shooting for. Ricky Carmichael, Brad Sweet, talking a little bit about what it's going to take to qualify well at this racetrack. Everyone's chasing Timothy Peters up to this point. Camping World Truck Series qualifying continues from ORP. Now it's Norm Benning's turn on the clock.
You know, right when we went to commercial, we had a shot of Brad Sweet and Ricky Carmichael. Talk about two guys with a diverse background getting here to this truck race at ORP.
Yep.
Brad Sweet, obviously open wheels, sprint cars, midgets, probably Silver Crown cars, and Ricky Carmichael, motocross, 2 wheels, and here they are coming together here at ORP for this truck race.
The only thing they remotely have in common is dirt. I mean, and
Yeah.
what does this place not have?
Dirt.
Dirt.
Although sometimes it feels as slippery as dirt.
Let's go trackside to right.
Austin Dillon climbing in his Bass Pro Shop Chevy and getting buckled in. I heard you say today in practice that it was either one way or the other. Did you ever find a middle ground?
You know, we struggled a little bit today in practice, but I think Stockman made the right adjustments. You know, tonight's going to be totally different than we had temperature-wise. So we kind of threw a little bit of a guess at it, but it's a controlled guess, so I think we'll be pretty good.
I really like that hat. Can you get me one of those?
As long as you want one at Bass Pro Shops.
Right. He's telling me go to the gift shop, guys.
They go buy one, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to give it to you.
I wouldn't give it to him either, Rick. Let's visit here with Shelby Howard, back in the Truck Series for the first time since 2008, driving for Kevin Harvick. How is your day going?
Oh, it's going pretty good so far. You know, the truck's just a little bit tight, but the guys freed it up after practice, and it was low for rear qualifying, so looking forward to tonight.
And of course, Kevin Harvick dominant in truck number 2 a week ago at St. Louis.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick, anytime he started in a truck race, has been fairly dominant. He's won 3 of the 4 races and finished second in that other one.
Average finish.
I think we decided it was 1.25.
You got it.
Right?
You got it.
250. You're right.
That's right. You added the O last week.
I wanted to contribute.
Donnie Leah on the racetrack. Donnie Leah is a short track winner in the Camping World Truck Series.
One of the most exciting finishes we've ever seen in the Truck Series. 3 wide.
Going in turn 3 on the last lap at Mansfield, Ohio, when it's basically a 1-group racetrack.
Yeah, there isn't room for 3 trucks, but they somehow figured it out.
Pretty inconsistent.
He was so much faster on his second lap, 5 1/1000ths of a second
If he can just
faster on lap 2.
get that consistency going, he'll be okay.
That's right. He is 5th quickest in his qualifying run. Again, the mark everyone's shooting for. Timothy Peters, 22.522. Now it's David Starr's turn on the racetrack in his PC Myler Navigator, number 81.
David said he's really been struggling with forward bite up off the corner, and that's the compromise at this racetrack is you have to get that truck to turn in the center of the corner, to rotate, to start going the other direction, but then getting that forward bite is very, very challenging. And I was talking to Johnny Sauter, Rick and Michael, and he said that, you know, we can try to make it better up off the corner of the forward bite, but then we penalize ourselves in the center of the corner. He said, I really believe that the nighttime will help that off the corner forward bite situation.
And if you watch, it looks like that truck is passing the forward bite off test. We didn't see any wheel slippage or any sideways action off. It looked like he might have got a little bit loose getting down into turn 3, had to turn the wheels to the right to catch it. And now he's wiggling around a little bit, but that first lap was solid, 22.75. David had run just 23:20 in practice, so he almost a half a second. Yeah. That's a big pickup.
That's a big pickup, and I tell you, that's always when we get to these short tracks, and he was really inconsistent as well. His second lap was 1 1/1000th of a second faster, but short track racing qualifying very, very tight.
Todd Bodine, Eric Almirola, Austin Dillon, Hornaday still to qualify from ORP. Tonight, get fired up for NASCAR trackside. Join the party here in Indy as Chip Ganassi and J.J. Yaley stop by to talk NASCAR and bring the fans to their feet. Don't miss NASCAR trackside tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Juan Montoya was fastest over there at the Brickyard practice, and wouldn't that be huge for Chip Ganassi? Obviously, car owner winner of the Indy 500 this year, the Daytona 500.
Looking for the Triple Crown, all 3 races, the 3 biggest races maybe in America. and chips on the edges, or has a shot at winning all 3 of them this year. That's amazing.
Yeah, winning 2 of them is pretty huge.
That's exactly right.
See
how Todd can do here.
Yeah, he was 6th quickest on lap number 1, 22.851. He'd have to pick it up 0.3 of a second just to move up to the 2nd spot.
I like the way it looked off 2, but it almost slid up a little high in 3 and 4 like he was pushing. His first lap was 22.85. Picks it up to a 65, 22.65.
And you got to believe how difficult it is. His last lap in a race vehicle was over at the Brickyard, which is absolutely, other than being close to Indianapolis, is nothing like this place. For him to jump in this truck and put a good lap down like he did on lap number 2 is pretty amazing.
And I think it's evident that his last lap was over the big track. He picked up 0.2 on his 2nd lap. We hadn't seen anybody pick up near that.
More than a thousandth of a second, just about.
Near that much, and he goes out, feels it out on the first lap. Todd's experience said, I need to make sure I don't miss my line here, and then turns it up a little bit on lap 2.
Timothy Peters, the fastest in qualifying up to this point. He's standing by with Adam.
And he's very anxious as he watches drivers like Todd Bodine and Eric Almirola go out. How did you feel about your qualifying run?
I felt really good about our Wisp Metal Cutting Tools Toyota Tundra. You know, we hit on a little bit of something there in practice, and Jeff Hensley and all these guys on this Red Horse Racing team do a great job. And it's fun when you run good. Hopefully all our bad luck is behind us, and we can turn that around in Indy tonight.
A solid effort last week in St. Louis for this team, no doubt.
That's a good sign for every. Oh, look at there. That's what I'm talking about. Hang that baby out. Timothy.
Eric said, that's enough. That's enough. I know that's not going to be a good lap.
22.730 is going to be his time of record for qualifying. That was on his first lap. He's decided that he'll opt to not do lap 2.
That's what I mean about getting scared, Rick.
He's hard on the throttle. You see his hands, and he has to turn back to the right to chase that back end. He does make slight contact with the outside wall.
You'll get ready to watch that happen repeatedly here on Speed
200
tonight.
laps, maybe.
These guys will be hanging it out.
So Eric Almirola, in his qualifying effort, he was a 10th to go on the racetrack and his 5th quick on his first lap.
I think he made such slight contact. I don't even think that'll maybe take a piece of tape or something, but very minimal contact. I don't think that'll cause the team to have to do any work. And obviously, if they had to do some work, then he would have to give up the starting position.
We have 4 drivers that are attempting to make their first start in the Camping World Truck Series, and one of those is Ryan Rust on the racetrack now in the number 6. We know he will start. He's locked in with owner points, and so he is guaranteed a starting position.
Oh, watch out, Ryan.
Hang on to it while he's running. Let's go down and hear from Ron Hornaday, right?
Well, Rick, we've talked a lot about Ron Hornaday not winning yet this year, but here's the deal, Ron. One of the very best racetracks ever for you in your career. You got to be excited about getting to ORP.
I think they're all pretty good. With Ernie Cope's done a great job with this Georgia Boot Chevrolet, so we'll see what we got. A 50 is pretty quick, as hot as it is, so hopefully we got something under the hood.
Okay, I got that. Ron Hornaday about 3 trucks away from hitting the racetrack.
Ryan's got his hands full, guys. This thing is very loose. It looked like he's just easing into the gas and it even gets sideways. So frustrating for a guy that really doesn't know a whole lot what to expect out of these things. And that truck just didn't act right for him.
And 18 years old, obviously very young. See him currently 11th, obviously the slowest truck so far, 24.881 on lap number 1, and I think he's glad to have that over with.
Yeah, I believe you're right. You know what I like about coming to ORP is these cats all getting to try to make their first start. I think last year we had 7 trucks make their first start. The drivers made their first start here at ORP. This year 4, so it's a short track, so people get a chance to get their legs up under them and figure out what this truck racing is all about.
Adam Alexander.
A solid qualifying effort for Eric Almirola. 2nd in points entering tonight. You satisfied?
I am. It's a whole lot better than we started last year. I think last year we qualified 17th. So pretty happy with our Raceway Pharmaceuticals Toyota Tundra for today. It hasn't been easy. We've been struggling just trying to keep up with the racetrack today, but we feel like we got a good balance for tonight. The truck's really, really free right now in the heat of the day, but I think that's going to be good for tonight.
We just saw that 2nd lap. I guess we didn't have a hard time figuring out why you shut it down early.
Yeah, I just got a little bit loose off it too. I tried to rush back to the throttle and didn't wait on it long enough, and I got myself loose early in the corner and just carried it all the way up off the corner. So it's all right, just barely kissed it, no big deal, and we'll go get him tonight.
He'll move on, Ray.
And Adam, at the top of the show, I said the Thorsport trucks were great, but so were the Red Horse trucks. And Justin Lofton, you were in the top 5 in practice. You got anything for them in qualifying?
Yeah, I really think we do. We lucked out getting a draw kind of later in the qualifying, so really looking forward to that. These guys have done a great job all practice and really getting us tuned in, and doing a lot of testing over about month April, May really helped us out in our short track program, and really looking forward to going out and shooting for our first pole here.
All right, Justin Lofton, and folks, if you don't know much about him, we'll let you learn a little more about this young driver tonight on the Setup Show right here on Speed.
Strapping in, getting ready for his qualifying effort.
This guy's been a pretty good qualifier this year, huh?
Yeah, 3 in a row, poles, and then the 6th at St. Louis. And the finishes he's putting together with these good qualifying efforts, too. Extremely impressive. Got that huge win at Iowa just a couple weeks ago and had another top 10 again last week. I think that makes, what, 4 in a row now for Austin?
Yeah, very impressive run for this young man.
Whoa, he's sideways a little bit, huh?
Hanging on to it as he comes to the white flag lap. His first lap, 8th quick, 22.841.
This is a truck that may be able to pick it up on lap number 2. I love watching the hands. I love watching the hands. And we saw Eric Almirola's hands looking good till he had to turn back to the right to try to catch that truck.
Austin's done that the whole lap. He's been having to steer it back to the right. But Phil, look how much this one truck fills this track up. I mean, he's occupying about all the racing space, one truck. We're going to put 30-some of them out there and watch them go at it.
He just got to negotiate around 35 other trucks if he wants to get up front. Qualifying continuing from O'Reilly Raceway Park as we're getting ready for the AAA Insurance 200 here on Speed. Stay with us. Sunday NASCAR race day invades Indianapolis. David Ruderman, Clint Boyer, and Jimmy Johnson join us live. Plus, Kenny Wallace shows you a side of the Brickyard like you've never seen before. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot, live from Indianapolis Sunday at 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
This cat caught a tough break at Iowa. Or excuse me, at St. Louis when Mike Skinner dove in the corner. Said he had a lug nut, I heard, maybe jammed up in one of his brakes.
Yeah, and broke part of the brake rotor. I saw that, yeah.
And messed him up on his entry. And, you know, unluckily, Ricky Carmichael was the guy that paid for it. Ricky was just minding his own business, dives down into turn 3 and gets run over and crashes hard.
Yeah, got to the outside wall and then drifted down the racetrack. And Jeffrey Earnhardt got into him down at the bottom of the track. So a 2-truck incident. Tearing up both trucks. Their days ended early, and we see Carmichael's qualifying come to an end. He was 10th quick on his first lap, and that will be his lap of record, 23.222. 14 trucks have been on the racetrack for their qualifying effort. Timothy Peters went out in the 5th spot, and right now he is the fastest truck. So 22.522 is what everyone is shooting for. And again, they're holding a truck. That's Narain Karthikeyan in the 60.
Phil, that team of Ricky Carmichael's, they added a consultant to the lineup to help the learning curve for Ricky and just try to take an overview of everything that's going on there.
Yeah, Doug Randolph, and that's a great move. Doug has a lot of experience in the sport and actually came straight from the Cup Series. He was working with the 71 team, the TRG team, earlier this year in the Cup Series, and they went their separate ways. And I think it's a real coup for Turner Motorsports to get him over there to look after and help Ricky's learning curve, and also with James Busher as well with the 31 truck, the 2-truck team.
Yeah, Doug's very experienced, and he can just tell these guys things that they might see, and it'll help them deal with those issues or items, whether it's with the setup or even on the racetrack, things that they'll have to deal with. Adam, Austin Dillon looked like he was sideways a lot. Can you get him to confirm that?
I said to him, loose, and he said, yes, take us through your qualifying run.
You know, we've kind of been fighting forward bite here all day, and I've been trying to figure out if it's me, the car, or the truck, or what it is. And I tried to roll the gas. It's just still too loose. But it was a way better run than what we had in practice. So I'll be excited for the race, and I hope it cools down a little bit more so we get some more forward bite. But should be able to turn under trucks. Just got to have that drive off to get up under them and stay under them.
A lot of tracks this year where you have made your debut. You have raced here in the Nationwide Series. How much can that help tonight?
A little bit. You know, we struggled here in a Nationwide race last year, but I mean, I think our truck's way better than what we had here last year in the Nationwide race. So excited for Bass Pro, and we'll just see how we do tonight. I think we'll be pretty decent.
I agree with Ray. It is a good-looking hat.
It's all about the hat. Narain Karthikeyan on the racetrack now in the number 60. We normally see Stacy Compton behind the wheel of this truck. A few times, though, Narain has taken the wheel, one of those being Martinsville, where he got his career best finish.
I'm just really impressed with how he's picked up this truck racing, aren't you, Phil?
Absolutely. He actually finished 11th at Texas his last time out, but 13th at Martinsville in his first ever race in anything like this. So I think very impressive. Lap number 1, 23.276. 12th out of the 15 trucks. Would like to pick that up some.
I bet you he does too, because he's going to be sort of like Todd Bodine. He doesn't really know what to expect every time he cranks that truck up. He gets a lap under his belt. He can probably pick it up a little bit, wouldn't you guess?
We will see as he comes out of turn 4. To the stripe he goes. He does pick it up. 23.236 on lap number 2. And that moves him up to the 11th spot of the 15 that have been on the track, right?
Hey, Rick, you know, when you come to Indianapolis, a lot of people trying to do things to help out Riley Hospital for Children. And one of those is Joanna Long. She is making her debut tonight in the number 15 for Billy Ballou Motorsports. And Joanna, tell me about your day today. You having a good time?
Yeah, we are. I'm just getting used to the truck at this place. I've been here with the late model before. But I think we're 20th in last practice, so hopefully we'll have a little better qualifying record.
How big of a difference is it from anything that you've driven in the past when you get in a Camping World truck?
It's a lot different. It's a lot heavier than what I'm used to, and I'm just really excited to be out here.
Okay, we wish her good luck. Race for Riley on the top of this truck, and Joanna Long just 18 years old, guys.
And at the opposite end of the spectrum, Ron Hornaday on the racetrack.
Third quickest on lap number 1 for Ron Hornaday, 22.650. Needs a little bit over 1/10 of a second to try to challenge Timothy Peters for the pole.
That was a little mean, Rick.
You had mentioned earlier about modern era and all that stuff. I just thought I'd go with he's one of our veterans.
Yeah, Phil and I's poles here came well before Joanna was born.
Yeah. Rick is no spring chicken either, Michael. I might want to point that out.
Third quick for Ron Hornaday. We can focus back on qualifying here. 22.650. Hornaday into the top 5. Can he win again, or maybe break that winless streak in 2010 right here at ORP? Qualifying continues. Stay with us here on Speed. Speed's coverage of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying from O'Reilly Raceway Park is brought to you by the AARP Auto and Home Insurance Program, the Hartford.
Justin Lofton was really strong in practice earlier today, Rick. He ran the 4th fastest time, but right now just good enough for 10th spot on his first lap, 22.849.
And that's within a 1/2 of what he ran in practice. So, you know, probably to try to get down and reach for that little bit extra here, actually slowed down about 3/10 on lap number 2. So Justin ran about what he did in practice, but a lot of the other trucks are picking up.
Justin Lofton, one of the rookies in the Camping World Truck Series, and now joining us up here in the booth, another rookie of the series, Jeffrey Earnhardt. Made your start in the trucks earlier this year, and probably not the finish you were looking for. A 30th place finish last week when you got into the back of that 4 coming down the racetrack.
Yeah, you know, it was just one of those deals, you know, had nowhere to go. Just a racing accident, but, you know, we had a pretty decent truck there. We were starting to get it a lot better, and, you know, just had a little bad luck.
How was the experience getting out on the racetrack behind the wheel of a truck?
It was a great experience, you know. I learned a lot. Learned these things aren't quite as tough as a nationwide car, but it's hard because you don't have as much motor, so you got to keep your momentum up and really be able to get up off the corners with these things.
Here's a guy that's trying to keep the momentum up from what he did in practice earlier. Let's see if that's the pole run. No, 7th quick for Johnny Sauter, 22.750.
And that truck looked good too. He was 3rd quick in practice. His teammate set in 2nd. I bet he has his eyes set on that pole, doesn't he?
Yeah, it really looked like a lot better lap. Now, that's still only a couple 10ths of a second off the pole, but I really thought that lap looked good. Looked like he got it turned in the center. Looked like he kept pretty straight up off the corner. See if lap number 2 is any better. About 16 thousandths of a second slower. So Johnny Sauter will end up 7th so far.
And I tell you what, it makes Timothy Peters' lap look much more impressive. I mean, Johnny Sauter was very strong in both practices, couldn't back it up, but Timothy Peters has put a pretty good mark up there.
I think that's going to be a tough lap to beat now. I thought Johnny Sauter would be one of the guys that would certainly challenge that lap, but that is a heck of a lap. He's as close as qualifying is from 2nd on back. Timothy has 1200ths over Matt Crafton, who's 2nd right now. This guy's probably going to be okay.
He's going to be okay, I'm sure. Kyle Busch on the racetrack. They changed the carburetor earlier in the first practice. Figured like they got everything working right. Was running well. Then had to jump on a helicopter, fly over to the big track. did some practice laps over there, and now has come back to qualify to get ready for this race.
And actually had Brian Eichler drive this truck, as Ray reported early on, to get some further practice in that second practice.
Didn't you like what Kyle said? He said, I'm going to go drive it and see what Eichler did to it.
And second quick on lap number 1, 22.606 for Kyle Busch. Can he pick it up? He needs to pick it up about 8/100ths of a second. He did that on the first lap.
Yeah, really close to that outside wall, but did not get out of the throttle. Slides up in the center. Really gets a nice straight run off the corner, straighter run off the corner.
Real high, though. I think maybe a little higher than he wanted to be. Yes. 22.750, loses about a
1/10.5,
15/100ths of a second. So good run for Kyle. You know, when you get that close to the wall off turn 2, there's a cornfield over there, and you have visions of being in that cornfield.
Well, last week I had mentioned earlier the 4 of Ricky Carmichael slides up the racetrack after that contact with the 5 of Mike Skinner, and then as he looks like he's going to stay up against the wall, he slides back down, and Jeffrey Earnhardt nowhere to go, and the number 6 gets into the back of that 4, and I noticed you cringed a little bit when we saw that, Jeffrey. Probably not a good memory of that race, but again, seat time is good for any driver.
Yeah, you know, obviously we wanted to finish the race and get all the seat time possible, but you know, again, it's one of those deals. It was a pretty good lick, so you know, hopefully we don't have any more of those whenever we go to our races further in the year. So hopefully we'll get our bad luck out of the way.
And Jeffrey, it looked like you had committed to the bottom. You actually had all 4 tires underneath the racetrack there, and when he spun around and came back down the racetrack right in front of you, I mean, you couldn't switch gears then and try to go to the right.
No, I mean, he came down the track pretty quick, so you know, just nowhere to go. Had my teammate to the outside, and just one of those deals.
What do you got planned for the rest of the year, Jeffrey? Will we see you back in the trucks?
Yeah, we're planning on, I believe Kentucky will be our next one. These aren't set completely, but Kentucky, Vegas, and hopefully Talladega. That's one we're pretty pumped about and excited to get there. You know, my grandpa, he won his last race there 10 years ago, and it'd be cool to go there and have a good run.
Very good. Best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you at Kentucky next. Mario Godson leaving the racetrack after his qualifying effort, 23.026, so he is 13th quick in his qualifying effort. Rowdy Busch, second quick when he was on the track. Wednesday night, Speed Prime Time is all new. At 8, it's the new original stunt riding series, Stealth Rider. At 10, it's Intersections, where man and machine are pushed to the limit. Get your heart racing Wednesday night, starting at 8 Eastern, only on Speed. A couple guys heart racing here at ORP today in qualifying, as they've gotten real close to the outside wall at this racetrack.
Well, I think probably at the end of the day, 37 trucks will have got pretty close to the wall. J.C. Stout finishes his run quickest on lap number 2, 23.227. That will be 16th of the 21 trucks that have made an attempt.
We have 3 former winners that are attempting to run this race tonight, one of those being Dennis Setzer. He's with Ray.
And he's driving for a brand new team in the series. Robbie Benton has the number 92 on the track. And Dennis, you guys were pretty good in practice today, but I have to wonder, is all the experience you have at this track help this team out?
Well, I don't know about that. I've been fortunate to run here quite a few times and had some success before, but you know, these Ricky Benton and all these guys at the HQ fleet, Silverado's done a pretty good job. You know, Dave Fuge is on board this week helping us out a little bit. These guys are trying to get this team started, really doing a good job, and I'm really proud of what they've done.
And always nice to have a veteran driver behind the wheel. Keep your eye on 92 tonight, Adam.
And you can also keep your eye on the 18 of Kyle Busch, currently second on the board. So how much credit does Eichler get for that qualifying lap?
None. I take it all. No. I mean, Eichler driving his thing and getting a good qualifying setup in it was pivotal. I mean, we want to qualify up front because you got to race up front here. It's a very hard track to pass on, and track position seems to be everything. But you know, the guys all day did a good job. They worked hard on this Toyota, and real proud of the way we are. And hopefully it'll be good for Toyota Warsaw and Flexco and M&M's tonight.
You've made a lot of history in your career, including earlier this weekend at the Brickyard when you had some fun with your rental car, huh?
All right, here's the deal. I was going through the coach lot and I couldn't find my bus. And I passed it, so I'm like, all right, well, I got to turn around. And I'm looking at the sand and I'm like, I know it's kitty litter. Man, it looks pretty compact. Like, it didn't have the ripples in it. So I'm like, I'll go right through it. You know, no big deal. As soon as I turned in there, man, that baby sunk, and I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. And then Harvick shows up after playing golf.
He starts taking pictures?
Yeah, and throws me completely under the bus. I mean, my wife did too, fiance, but Harvick, I mean, he killed me.
I guess the moral of the story, we need GPS in the coach lot, right? So you don't get lost?
Yeah, just tell me where my coach is at. I'll make it there.
Joe Aramendia coming off the racetrack, currently 19th in this qualifying session. His first lap, 23.550 is quickest. Brett Butler now on the racetrack in Fuel Doctor 47.
Good looking truck for Brett. Let's see what he can do. You can see the last 3 races, he hasn't qualified that good, but he's raced right up to the edge of the top 20, always contending for a top 20 finishing spot.
14th at 3 races ago. I'm sorry, 24th at 3 races ago at Michigan, but 18th at Iowa.
And then 21st last week at St. Louis. So Brett's next to the slowest truck so far, 24.12. See if he can get her picked up a little bit here and grab some spots. Young man still learning his way around these tracks, and it's evident by how he qualifies in the 30s and races in the 20s. That's somebody that just is getting their bearings about how to race these trucks, and keeping the fenders on that thing, I think, is the key to learning. You know, he's there all day long, and it'll just make him better and better.
Picked up almost 0.2 of a second on lap number 2, jumped up a spot to 21st.
And I mentioned 4 drivers attempting to make their first starts in the Camping World Truck Series. One of those being Joanna Long in the number 15 for Billy Blue Motorsports.
Man, she was real competitive in practice, top 20 with that truck, and looks good. She came out of the pits hard and strong, ran down into turn 3. Could be a real competitive lap, Phil.
18 years old. It's amazing what these kids can do at 18 years old. She looks good right now.
Yeah, it's a very strong looking run.
Here we go trackside to right.
You know, Rick, when you start talking about guys who have had good runs with no results, on the top of that list would be Ryan Sieg. These guys have been running pretty well, but not able to finish the deal. And Ryan, normally when we look at your truck, it says 39 on it, and this week it says 93. Why is that?
We just wanted to try a little luck, try to get a little luck this weekend, change it up. But no, actually we are. I'd rather this truck don't have no spot, no points. So trying to move it up in the points a little bit, trying to get it out.
You know, if you're looking for luck, sometimes they say paint them pink.
We might try it. We need it.
Whatever they would do, guys.
Well, my works for Joanna Long. How about that qualifying effort?
She was driving the heck out of that thing, wasn't she?
And look at the guys that she's ahead of. Mario Goslin, Donnie Leah, Ricky Carmichael, some good, strong trucks here at ORP.
Welcome back to ORP, O'Reilly Raceway Park. AAA Insurance 200 qualifying underway. Mike Garvey on the racetrack in the number 39.
Mike qualified 15th last time out for Gateway.
I was talking to Ray a little bit earlier in the pits, and he said that was a Daytona truck, one of the trucks they'd run on super speedways, and brought it here to ORP, and it certainly looks like it's okay to drive, but he's not going to be able to get the speed out of that truck that was designed and built to race at a place like Daytona.
It's amazing, and the rules are such that there's not a whole lot you can do, but what little you can do makes so much difference.
It's two exact opposite thinking. Everything you want here, you don't want at Daytona, and vice versa. So the fact that Garvey's able to wrestle that thing around there, run down in the 23-second bracket, you're at a 23.878, 21st. That tells you what kind of shoe old Mike is. He can get all there is in it out, but I just don't think there's a whole lot in a Daytona truck here at ORP.
It wouldn't be my choice of trucks to bring, but I'm sure the team really didn't have a whole lot of choice. Probably short on equipment right now.
We have 37 trucks here attempting to qualify for the 36 spots. We have now entered knockout qualifying. That means that the next trucks that go on the racetrack will have to qualify on time to stay in. One will go home. The 06 of Dale Brackett on the racetrack, and Dale struggled in practice earlier. He's looking to pick it up if he can to get into this race.
He's not having a real good time of it, Rick. That thing isn't running. He's not running a great line, but you don't know how much that, Phil, is his inexperience trying to learn how to race it, and then also just trying to manage the truck. Can't seem to get it to go where it needs to be.
First lap for Dale Brackett was 24.918.
And remember, with only 37 trucks here, all you have to beat is one, as you mentioned, Rick, we're just now into the knockout qualifying. So the slowest truck from here on out is going to be the one that's not going to make this race tonight.
And you know, Dale not having the experience and not liking the way that truck's feeling, at least he put a lap in the books. You know, that's going to keep everyone honest. All these people that are getting ready to qualify now have to make it around. They can't get loose and hit the wall, or they'll be the ones that isn't in the race.
And he picked up over 0.6 of a second from practice at a 24.527. So that may be enough of a cushion to get him in this show.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, the Great Clips truck was pretty good today in practice, and Brad Sweet behind the wheel. How many races have you run at this racetrack?
I think I ran about 5 or 6 in the midgets, and I actually ran the midget and the Silver Crown last night. And we had a couple good finishes, so hopefully we can carry it over today for the Great Clips Toyota.
How good's your truck? What are you expecting in qualifying?
You know, we're hoping for close to a top 10. We were right on the verge in both practices, and you know, we made a couple good changes hopefully, and you know, hopefully we'll put it towards the top 10 there.
Okay, just a handful of starts for this guy, and one lady trying to make her first tonight. She's with Adam.
And that would be Johanna Long, who does have a start here at ORP a couple of years ago in a late model, this much different, and you have to be satisfied with that qualifying run.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I screwed up a little bit on the coming off of 2, and I burped it a little bit, and I think we could have a little bit faster run. I hate it for what I did, but I'm really happy with what we're at.
An educational day, no doubt, for Johanna Long.
Well, she should be happy, Rick. She was driving the heck out of that thing. It wasn't just cruise control. She was right and left, and you could tell it got loose, and she was able to be really aggressive with the steering wheel and put up a solid lap.
Yeah, we mentioned some of the names that she was able to out-qualify. Guys like Mario Goslin, Donnie Leah, Ricky Carmichael. I mean, all guys that have run numerous races in this series. They're still all chasing Timothy Peters here in qualifying. This Thursday on Speed, our primetime lineup is packed with great original series. At 8, Pink's All Out is all new as it goes 4 wide at the colossal mega track ZMAX Dragway. Then at 9, it's 70 miles of terror and dangerous drive. And at 10, it's a muscle car slugfest on the all-new Battle of the Supercars. Again, that's Thursday. All that beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Speed. Chris Lafferty on his qualifying lap.
Was able to bump himself in. He is faster than the 06 truck of Dale Brackett, so he will race tonight, Chris Lafferty.
He edged Dale by a couple of tenths of a second. This is going to be pretty interesting. Like we said, Phil, Dale Brackett ran a good enough time where these guys are going to have to at least repeat or maybe even pick up a tiny bit over practice in order to be able to get in the show. So Chris Lafferty runs better on that second lap, 24.261. That makes him 26th fastest overall, and more importantly, in the show tonight.
Now on the racetrack, that 92, Dennis Setzer. Again, Setzer victorious at this racetrack back in 2005. Has 18 wins in the Camping World Truck Series.
Brand new team. Basically, they've made a couple starts prior to coming here to ORP. Ricky Benton's team. Nice looking truck, nice looking equipment. Dave Hughes Sr. on board to help this week. And Dennis a little bit close to the outside wall. As we mentioned, we'll have 37 trucks that have gotten close to the wall during their qualifying effort.
You know, when you've been out there, Phil, and you've done that before, I just know what it did to Dennis. It does it to me every time I see somebody get sideways. Dennis solid, 23.01, qualifies just in behind Johanna Long. How about that? She out-qualifies another guy that really knows how to get around a short track.
Nobody any better in our sport, that's for sure.
He's won on every short, I would say every one he's ever been on. He's just a really talented race car driver. But you put him on a bull ring, a little place like this, and he's extra special.
Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't mean he can't win at a Texas, because he's done it a couple times.
And Charlotte.
Michigan, Charlotte, absolutely. But he will stay 14th so far, slowed down about a 10th on lap number 2.
Okay, let's watch. This is the fun part. Remember,
well, fun for us watching.
Yeah. Remember, just to the right, there's a cornfield that you can feel like you might land in. See the black marks off the rear tires?
Look just like Eric Almirola.
Well, the cornfield's a little further away.
Except that Dennis did not make slight contact with the outside wall. There's Ryan Sieg. We talked to him just a few moments ago. Usually in the 39 truck. Now he's in the 93 truck.
And we go trackside again with Wright.
And guys, the Wolfpack Reynolds Chevrolet will be just about last to go out onto the track. James Busher has jumped in, and You guys had a mechanical problem this afternoon, is that correct?
Yeah, we had a transmission problem. The transmission would go from first to second, but it wouldn't go from third to second, so I couldn't go to second gear when I'm downshifting. So NASCAR let us change it, and it really wasn't broken. It was just not working like it was supposed to, and I don't know, our Wolfpack Reynolds Chevrolet is pretty good. Struggled being a little tight in practice, so we'll see if we got a little better and see how far up we can qualify.
Does that mean you have to start at the rear of the field, James?
No, they said that the way our transmission was messed up that we don't have to go to the rear, so where we qualify is where we start.
Okay, so he says wherever he qualifies is where they start, guys.
Good run by Ryan
Yeah,
Sieg,
definitely.
all the way up to 16th on lap number 2, picked up 27/100ths of a second. Jumps up there with a pretty good position there with that 93 truck.
Okay, let me tell you, when the trucks come off the turn and we show it from the camera, it looks like there's a road and then a couple of trucks, then some trees, then a cornfield. But when you're in your truck and you come off that turn, you can't see all that because that's behind the wall. The first thing you see is a cornfield.
Is that the cornfield you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, visually, you think, you know, from what I said, you would think maybe you couldn't really see that, but I promise.
But you could get there. You could get to that cornfield.
That wall's not all that tall over there. You can see it's not. The truck is actually taller than the wall, and so you see over the wall into the cornfield.
Michelle Theriault on the racetrack now in the number 48 Chevrolet.
And there's a chance back in the era that Phil and I won our poles in here, the cornfield was closer.
Not the modern era.
And I think that the wall is now taller than it used to be back in the old days.
I love the way you guys are talking about the fact that it had to be 90s. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, I just want you to know, Rick, that Michael and I used to crawl under the fence when we were younger to listen to you announce at the dirt track in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, my goodness. We are spinning some stories now. How about Michelle Theriault, though? 25th quick, locks herself into this race.
Yeah, and that's huge.
That's 3 girls we're going to have racing tonight.
3 female drivers will be in the field of the 36 trucks that will start. Again, the guy on the bubble right now is Dale Brackett, running 24.527. He is the slowest of the go-homers. There's that cornfield you were worried about, Michael.
It's right over there, I promise.
Just outside the wall here at ORP. Welcome back. AAA Insurance 200 qualifying continues from O'Reilly Raceway Park for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Again, on the pole at this point is Timothy Peters, 22.522. That's not corn, by the way, Michael.
It was.
It's soybeans.
It used to be corn. Back in the day, it was corn.
What they do in farming, if you knew, they rotate crops.
I'm from Nebraska. What are you talking about? Mike Harmon on the racetrack now in the 24. He's got Harmonator on the side of his truck.
And he's also got it locked into the show. 24th fastest on his first lap, 23.767. So great run by Mike. Solidly going to be racing tonight.
Good looking truck. One of the few Fords we have in the field.
Now, this is one of the situations where we look a week ahead, and right now Timothy Peters has run 22.522, and there are 5 trucks that still have to go out on the racetrack to qualify. Of those 5, we haven't seen anyone that's come close to what Timothy Peters was able to run. So next week, when the fastest go out last, that's what makes qualifying so interesting next week at Pocono.
Grouping those guys together will keep the suspense. Will certainly be in. We won't know what's going to go on to the very, very end. And this week, certainly it looks like that Timothy Peters has this thing well in hand.
Great shot of the safer barrier right there. You see on the right-hand side is the O wall, and then the
It's
safer
shorter,
barrier,
like you said.
and shorter, exactly. And then the safer barrier is up taller. But even the wall on the backstretch, when you see the transition from safer barrier to straightaway wall, you see it dip down a little bit. But I still think it's higher than it used to be. When we first started coming here, again, all they'd ever run here pretty much is open wheel cars, little midgets and sprinters and stuff like that, and they didn't have to have that tall wall. But these big vehicles came here. We came with the Busch Series first back in 1982, and then the trucks, followed us in 1995. They said, well, man, we need some taller walls for these vehicles.
Yeah, and I agreed with them wholeheartedly. Brad Sweet cuts his way up into the 13th spot. Good solid run for Brad. He becomes the fastest of the trucks that have to qualify in on time, 23.286. Adam.
And how about Michelle Theriault? A very solid qualifying run. You're in the show. That's got to be a nice relief.
That was the worst part of the night, so we're real excited to get the Pro Gold Chevrolet in tonight for our first race for the season. I look forward to 6 more races with Fast Track, and we're just going to stay out of trouble tonight in the key seat time so we can build on it and get better each week.
Best of luck tonight, Michelle.
Thank you.
Great attitude. Seat time, that's the key. She's glad to be in the show and just wants to run 200 laps, and whatever the track will give her in the competition, that's what she'll take.
Chris Jones now in the 87, wanting to lock himself into this race.
Dale Brackett said, why'd y'all make me go first and wait through every one of these trucks to see if I could beat one of them and get to race tonight?
Dale Brackett, one of the drivers looking to make their first starts in the Camping World Truck Series, and it's not looking good now. Chris Jones has also locked himself into this race. 24th quick on Chris's first lap. Just 3 more opportunities for Dale Brackett. Nick Hoffman also trying to make his first start in the series. James Busher, a very strong truck here, and Butch Miller. So those will be the 3 final trucks that will have to qualify, as we see Chris Jones increasing his number to 19th as far as qualifying. Mark, his second lap, 23.178. So good run for Chris Jones. 3 trucks remain to qualify from ORP. Speed presentation of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying from O'Reilly Raceway Park is brought to you by Camping World. The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. Camping World is offering more prizes and more chances to win. Visit campingworld.com and enter today. By Toyota and by Johnsonville. Sausage is all we do.
Nick Hoffman's on the track, Phil. This is a kid that races dirt cars for Carl Edwards. Carl's going to be here tonight working with him and helping him. He's young and fast, getting a chance in the 63 truck, and we know what that means.
Yep, and he's in the show already on lap number 1. 23.456. Lap number 1 picked it up to 23.333 and will race tonight from the 25th position as of now with 2 trucks left.
A lot of guys have gotten their start in that truck and went on to bigger and better things.
Jamie McMurray was one of the guys. Carl certainly.
And Carl saw this as an opportunity to get Nick some track time and maybe start him on the same path. Here's a guy that last week went out late in qualifying and actually got on the right up front, right on the outside of the front row. So, you know, Timothy Peters feels really good about his time, but he's not going to be totally confident until James Busher doesn't beat him. You can see the aggressive approach James took down into turn 1. I love the way they drive these things deep into these turns. That's what makes it so fun when you put them all out there together, because they get very aggressive.
And it's short track racing. This series was started on the short tracks, actually right here at this racetrack, one of the first tracks and one of only 3 that we still have run at.
Whoa,
since
look
the
at there.
inception.
Good lap on lap number 1 for James Busher, 22.674. About a 10th and a half off Timothy Peters' time right now. Can he pick it up?
Sounded like he got a really good run off turn 2. You could hear him getting the gas hard. The truck's stuck. He didn't go up there and hit that wall like we've seen a couple guys do.
Coming out of turn 4, can he pick it up on lap number 2? Cross the stripe, and he does pick it up, but not fast enough. 3rd quick for James Busher, 22.611.
This kid can qualify, can he?
Sure can. He can race too.
That means 1 truck remains. Butch Miller in the 21 going out onto the racetrack for his qualifying effort. It will be the final truck on the track.
It's very simple. It's either Butch Miller or Dale Brackett that will race tonight.
24.527 is what Butch Miller has to, well, 24.526 is what Butch Miller has to run to get into today's field. He gets the green flag, his first lap of qualifying. He is on the clock.
Remember, Butch Miller is a former winner here in the series back a number of years ago in Colorado.
He's credited with the closest, I see you shaking your head. He's credited with the closest win in series history, but that was before we had electronic timing.
Yeah, it was, and they called it a thousandth of a second because it was so close they didn't know what else to call it. But yeah, it was certainly a close finish. And Butch is going to make his way in the field with a 23.408. And unfortunately, Michael, that means that Dale Brackett will not make his first start.
And, you know, you could tell from the time Butch went on the racetrack, if he just executed, made it all the way around, he was going to be fast enough to make this race, and that's exactly what happened.
So Butch Miller is in. He keeps digging on lap number 2. see if he can improve on his 27th place starting position. He does speed up, but doesn't move up in the rankings. 23.370 on lap number 2, but holds him in the 27th position. There's Ron Hornaday.
Doing double duty this weekend.
Yep.
There's Ernie Cope, who will be crew chief tonight and as well as tomorrow night in the Nationwide car.
Rick Corelli also talking with Ron Hornaday. AAA Insurance 200 qualifying has concluded. We'll hear from the pole sitter next. And welcome back. O'Reilly Raceway Park is the site for our 12th race of the 2010 season. Coming up after the break is trackside. Then Chris Devoda kicks everything off with the setup presented by Polaris at 7:30. 8 o'clock, it's the AAA Insurance 200 presented on speed by the Expendables. A lot of great, exciting action happening right here on speed. Leave it right here. These are the two guys that will bring the field to the green flag tonight, both driving at Toyotas.
You know, one thing I'm going to wonder is Timothy Peters going to pick the outside. He has the choice to pick that outside line. That is a fast way around. Let's watch his qualifying lap here. You see he's middle to top of the racetrack, gets the right sides right on the top lines, keeps that thing straight up off the corner, gets a lot of power down.
You know, we talked about we didn't think it would be much of a penalty to go out early. He was the fifth truck to roll onto the track, and he put a time down that made them all know that they were going to have to really hit a perfect lap to beat Timothy, and no one was really able to get that close.
And Crafton actually went out first, and he ended up 4th in qualifying. So going out early wasn't a penalty today here at ORP. The guy who is the fastest, though, is standing by with Ray Dunlap.
Timothy Peters got his first career pole at Nashville a year ago, but boy, what a time to get one here. Qualifying means so much when we come to ORP.
Yeah, coming here, Jeff and I were talking how critical track position is here, and you know, we had a good first practice. Then the second practice, we hit on a little something there, and I tell you what, it's just been a dream to drive this Wisp Metal Cutting Tools Toyota Tundra today, and to set on the pole, my best start here ever. Hopefully I can get my best career finish here tonight.
All right, you get to pick the line. You're going to be on the inside or the outside when we take the green?
We done already talked, and we said we got to go with the outside. That's the only way to be here, especially coming off of turn 2.
All right, 5 wins at this racetrack came from the pole sitter. Timothy Peters gets his second pole tonight at ORP.
And James Busher just glad he can see the front when the green flag goes in the air later tonight. Where did that lap come from in qualifying?
These guys did a good job making changes on this truck. It's a brand new truck, and we kind of struggled in practice. We didn't unload quite like we wanted to, and you know, we struggled with a tight truck all day, and that's the first time it got loose, and it was fast. So not quite enough for the pole. I think that's like the 5th time I've started the top 3 this year and not got a pole yet. So we need to find a little bit more for qualifying, but all these guys did a good job, and you know, we're starting close enough to the front. We'll be able to be there all night.
Inside of row 2 for James Busher.
Tonight will be the 16th race here at ORP for the Camping World Truck Series. We've come here at least once every year since the inception of the series.
Remember how important it is to start in the top 5. Only one time has this race been won from outside the top 5. You got Timothy Peters, Kyle Busch, James Busher, Matt Craft, and Ron Hornaday in those 5 coveted spots right now, Mikey.
But I'm looking back at that 9th spot. Johnny Sauter was really fast in practice, so Johnny's hoping that he can repeat what Johnny Benson did a couple of years ago by winning from the 8th spot.
We saw Dennis Setzer back there in row 8, so 16th. Can a guy come from 16th, and would it be a guy like Dennis Setzer that could make something happen from that far back?
Well, Dennis Setzer won Martinsville one time from 33rd, so Dennis Setzer, if anybody can do it, Dennis Setzer can do it.
Man, we got to mix it up a little bit. Surely it won't be somebody in them first 8. I'd like to see somebody come from the back. Little pit strategy, maybe?
Are you okay? Because that's actually corn there,
There's
Michael.
the corn.
Feel good about that?
Right over that wall. It'll scare you.
Absolutely. It scared me, too.
Oh, my goodness. In the, what was it, pre-79? No, that was the past era.
Don't go there, Rick. Don't go there.
Well, you guys are both pole winners at this racetrack. It takes a steady hand to win at a short track, especially here at ORP. And we're going to see that tonight. 36 trucks starting and not a lot of real estate for them to work with.
They're going to have their hands full, that's for sure. When they all crowd together, it's going to be crazy.
We saw Eric Almirola bounce off the wall qualifying. We'll see a lot more of that tonight, too.
It's going to be bumping and banging, short track style. The Camping World Truck Series is here on speed.